Welcome back, my friends, to Let's Play Langrisser 2, where the clash concludes with Scenario 27, the end of a legend. Elwin and his party finally made it to their final battle with Bernhardt, who awaited them in the deepest halls of Elzeria Castle. The Temple of Darkness was eerily quiet. At the altar stood Bernhardt, grasping Alzard, coughing and wheezing. No, I'm playing. Despite having been cornered, Bernhardt's eyes were filled with confidence and fighting spirit. And oh, he's gonna need it, because we're bringing our best. But so is he. Look at all those level 10s and level 8s. I think you know the conditions for victory and defeat, so we don't need to run through it. What we do need to do is get our equipment in order. First things first. Now you think for the final battle they're gonna bust out the big guns and give you all of the best, but no. Knife and a robe. Fantastic. So, moving on. Clearly we don't want to get rid of this dark rod, which, like the holy rod, you can sell, but why would you want to? I'm not. I won't. So don't. The question is who to give it to. Liana definitely is not going to get it. Yeah. Something's not right here. Oh, right. So there was a big gap in between recording of episodes. In fact, it's a race to get this one up in time. It's been a lot going on in my life, but long story short, I've had so many concurrent and alternate playthroughs of this game running simultaneously that I've kind of gotten my files a bit mixed up, and it's possible that this is not the same game carrying over from Scenario 26, which was already uploaded. It's pretty close, all the classes are the same, stats should be more or less on par, but I'm not sure if this is the same file exactly, so if there's some mild differences, please bear with it. I don't think it would be anything extreme, but I know nobody's been defeated in this playthrough. Any of my playthroughs I've been doing, I haven't lost any commander, so that should still be the same. That's the important thing. And that might not seem so major right now because it's not like you have a win and loss record all the time, but it's going to factor into the ending, which we'll be seeing shortly because this is the finale, make no mistakes. But please, if you like Langrisser, stick around after this video because there are some bonus videos I'm going to throw up there just, you know, extending the life of this because I really enjoyed this game and I want to show it off a little bit more, a little bit longer, so. And then there's the final secret scenario battle, which, as far as I can tell, you cannot access playing the game naturally without using some sort of a cheat code, so that is going to be after the fact, and it'll make more sense after you see the nature of that battle, because originally I was going to post it before this one, but no. I think it'll work out just fine the way it is. Liana's going to get phalanx because they've proven to be good defenders. That's pretty much all we need them for. Lana, proud recipient of that dark rod. I wanted to leave it with Langrisser for the whole way, but then I thought about it. You know, sometimes I'm a stickler for story. You know, just like when I played Warsong or Langrisser 1, I always wanted to make the prince the class of king for the end. You could also make him a Grand Knight, Magic Knight, very good classes, but King just felt right. You know, this one, Elwin, I don't feel this is necessary because really, he's kind of distanced himself from the royal family, so making him a hero seemed more appropriate than a king, which he could become. Because he's the king of what? Bolshias no more. But along those lines, I feel wrong not giving him Langrisser for the final battle. So I could give it to Cherie, which wouldn't be terribly inappropriate, being the descendant of Narm, aka Sabra. I could give it to Jessica, which of course would be fine, considering. Both of the twins could hold it, but no. But enough rambling and jibber-jabbering. Let's enjoy this music for a little bit, so I'm gonna shut up. Just please soak this in, the last battle theme. I'll be back in a little bit. We finally made it, thanks to Langrisser. That's not true, though. We got it this far through our faith and dedication. We merely borrowed the sword strike. That's right, it was the power of light. How could a man of your caliber not realize that, Bernhardt? Ridiculous, I've achieved everything through force. When is mighty, wealth and power are yours for the taking. Those without power are nothing. Yes, that is the world we live in. Kinda sounds like he's trying to convince himself of that, doesn't it? You are consumed by greed, Bernhardt. And he's likening us to yelping dogs. Okay, he thinks he can get the sword from us. We'll see how that plays out. Vampire Lord returns. fresh off his defeat in scenario 24. But I guess it wouldn't be too fresh by this point. But I was gonna shut up, right? Yes, let's enjoy this music for a minute or two and I'll be back. As we get Aaron set up here to take her down. All we needed was 7. Employing all my powers of concentration to not sing along right now. In case you were wondering or waiting. So what did you think of that? And I'm probably going to be quiet a little bit more here and there just so you can really enjoy it. And then we get to hear Bernhardt's theme on his turn, so I don't think that's something we've heard too much of so far. And it might just be me, but I don't know. Something about the music in this game. It just lends itself very well to karaoke, which is probably why I always feel the need compulsively to sing along. You know, I mean, every song just about is very melodic, and I don't want to say it's over the top at times, but it has almost theatrical quality about it, you know? Like, you can make Langrisser the Broadway play, the musical. You could, easily, and just use the music from the game, just rearrange it. I'm serious. I mean, come on, if you've been following this LP, you've heard me sing spontaneously throughout, and it's not because I just have to sing, even though I do like singing, but it's just, again, I feel compelled. It's just so good. It just really gets in your blood, your body, you know? Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to do too much to her. Like, see, let me demonstrate. The ballistic phalanx rapidly on the move. Sick of the ravages of the war-torn dunes. As the clock of life rapidly advances past noon. What can we do now? There's everything laying out on the line. Come too far now to lay down like dogs and die. I know we will prevail and we will achieve the most impossible dream because we believe in ourselves and Eli. By light, we will achieve our victory. Through Langrisser we'll find the means. Indeed. See what I mean? See, the words practically write themselves. And it's not because I'm that good, because clearly I'm not. The music's just that damn well written. Take just about any theme from this game. Leon, Knight's Errand, One Side, Egbert, Soldier, and so on and so forth. They all share this quality. Gotta love it. Yeah. I probably spent more time talking about the music in this game than anything else, but can you blame me? Yeah. And this part right here, this transition. Oh goodness. Now just imagine this with real live instruments. Yummy, 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 yum. Eat it right up. Little vitamin A, little vitamin M, and a vitamin S to sustain my life all the time. In fact, talking about this just gave me an interesting idea for some Langrisser related videos I can make for you guys, but I'll have to save that thought for later, if I even revisit it, when I have a little more time for fun, silly stuff like what I had in mind. Keyword karaoke, okay? But back to the action. Good fight to bring Ballista to, because they can do that. Demon Lords have high attack, but their defense is questionable. And gotta show off another summon one last time. Gonna bring out the Worm Guard or Verm Guard or however you say that. Not going to be at its best out of water like Lester, but in the off chance it will decide to no teleport, I thought it might be a good wager, let's say. And yeah, straight away, it's the last battle. We don't need to max out experience. Grr, indeed. You know, so sometimes we're going to have to get rid of the goons to get to the commander in certain situations, but when I can go straight for them, like so, best believe that's what I'm going to do. And he's got pretty decent defense, so he's not going to go down right away. But I suspect he's slightly weak naturally to long-range attacks, so that's kind of working for us. Yeah. Not this turn, but, well, maybe, if they can reach. If I can get one or two more in there, perhaps. Oh. Yeah, one more ballista could probably do it, unless I get a bad roll. I don't care who gets the experience at this point, we've all got what we need and then some. Thank you. No playing with your food. Yes, the immortals will die today. Welcome to the world of Elsalia, where anything goes. And now I have the theme from Ranma playing in my head. I'll let you guess which one. For those of you who even know what Ranma is. You know, I'm a fairly small channel, so I'm not entirely sure who makes up the bulk of my viewing and listening audience, so I don't know what you guys are necessarily into or not into, besides Langrisser, of course. I can't imagine why you'd be watching this video if you didn't like Langrisser. I don't think I'm that compelling of a personality. And I've been saying the word compelling a lot today, haven't I? But it's a good word, it's fun. You know, what is life if not compulsory? Cherie, level 6 princess, super powerful, probably stronger than anybody needs it to be. Truthfully. But we like her like that. She's got strong troops supporting her. Angels are a good bet always. Monks are very helpful in this fight because they're good against the elementals. Well, they're stupendous against the elementals. They're very good against the demons and the commanders on this battle, with the exception of Bernhardt and the Saints. They can hold their own against elves because they have decent enough defense. And anything with even a mediocre attack can deal with them up close. Probably going to want to employ teleport at some point to just get rid of them in a hurry. Again, we're not trying to farm this out. And, oh, I was not expecting him so soon. I must have advanced too far too fast. Leon, don't throw your life away, please. It's a miracle you've lived this long. But again, a man of his word, a man of his oath, he's not backing down, so no matter what happens, this is not going to end well. And Bernhardt, at least, you know, showing him the respect, he thanks him for his devotion, as he should. And he thinks uniting the continent through force is the best way through peace. Otherwise, betrayal will be the end results. According to him, that's what the world needs. I respectfully disagree. As we have been this whole time, which is why we fight. But you can argue it's hypocritical to fight for peace or to establish peace, you know? Is that any way to true peace? Well, as much as I'd like to co-sign on that, when you think about it, in certain situations, there's really no backing down, there's no alternative. I mean, Bernhardt, he's got enough power. If we didn't stand up to him, Elwin and his group, who else could stop him? He would just have his way. So unless you are okay with his way of doing things, you know, we pretty much gotta fight. Now, if we continue to fight after he's defeated, if we set up various militia and military branches and, you know, put billions and trillions of gold into establishing defense weapons and all these things and, you know, invade or occupy other nations or surrounding kingdoms to ensure their so-called safety, quote unquote, then you can question our intentions and our goals and our real plans. But until then, I think we've earned the benefit of the doubt. You know, it's like you could be a peaceful person, but if someone backs you into a corner, if they're threatening your life or the life of someone you care about, or something you care about, now, you know, you could continue to just not fight back and let them have their way, but I don't necessarily consider that honorable or brave. I mean, I'm going to not judge or criticize you necessarily, but I'm definitely not going to condemn the person who fights back in self-defense. You know, self-preservation. There's never any shame fighting for that. You know? If you have any respect for nature at all, take a look, because you see it all over. Natural law. In my opinion, it trumps man's law, but that's just me. I mean, it's been around longer, if nothing else. And it's more consistent. You know, tomorrow we can decide, you know, chewing gum is against the law, or brushing your teeth, or walking backwards across the street. Not that you should do that anyway, but, you know, man's law at times, for better or for worse, can be very arbitrary. It can be very subjective, very one-dimensional, let's say. So, I'm not knocking men, but, you know, there are things above the world of man, and we need to be mindful of that. And Leon is just going all in here. It's all about his majesty. It's starting to sound a little crazy at this point. I mean, I can defend Leon all day. I can admire him as much as I want, but just so stubborn until the very end. Gonna abide by his oath as a knight. But again, I cannot be mad at him. I'm just a little sad that we have to fight him still. Again, if you're playing Langrisser, you have that option. You can join his side and, you know, you don't have to fight him under the condition that you comply with the wishes of the Empire. That's the only thing. Because if you even decide to betray the Empire at some point, of course, he's not going to go along with you. His allegiance is firmly cemented with Bernhardt, and that will not change. So, if you're okay with Mr. B, then Leon will be your best buddy till the end of time. But only under that condition. And he's just going on a rampage. You know what? On a whim, I decided to move people in position in that first turn. I almost didn't, not thinking I'd have to confront him so soon. So I'm glad I did, because if I didn't move those phalanx into position, if I didn't spread my people out the way that I did, we would have lost somebody. And they all have pretty good defense at this point. But against Leon, it's pretty dicey. So now it's time for the recovery. I guess it's good, though. The sooner we get him out of the way, you know, no more surprises to deal with. And besides, what's Langrisser without a surprise ambush? That was a genuine surprise, though, because I was not expecting that soon. So it's nice that I can still get caught off guard at this point. Protection, one of the best spells in the game. Get to see it a little bit longer before we teleport. And I think we're going to have to deal with him. I was going to go for the mages, but I think he's a little bit higher up on the priority tree. Right? And then she can help out with some buffing, some bufferage, get a little insurance coverage for our people in case of floods, spills, tornadoes, or other damages. Yeah, speaking of the Langrisser series, I do have to apologize in advance. Again, life likes to throw you curveballs from time to time. Well, let me hold that thought. Elwin can't believe Leon still wants to fight, and Leon is just pretty much a parrot at this point, just going to keep repeating himself, because Elwin doesn't listen any more than he does. They're both stubborn in their own way. But I think we signed up for the right side here, at least the winning team. Not that the winner always connotes what's right. You know? Yeah. Keep that in mind. Just because you lost doesn't mean you were wrong, if that's any consolation. Depends on the situation, naturally. But let me stay focused now that we got that dialogue out of the way, because I never want to overshadow that. After all, I am here to show off the game, not me. But back to me temporarily. You know, life, you know, it stepped in, it kind of reminded me of some things, showed me some things. Basically, there are some things that are demanded of me right now that are a little bit more important than playing video games for the internet, sadly, as much as I love to do it. So, with that having been said, I'm not going to stop this channel. I'm not going to, you know, cease all operations, but I'm going to have to really scale back some of the things that I had planned. Unfortunately, it's just I have other responsibilities, and, you know, that's the unfun part of being an adult, you know. You gotta deal with that stuff, you know. Like Leon, you know, you gotta be men and women of your word, of your bond, you know. You gotta take care of things when they need to get taken care of. So, yeah, there are things like that that I have to deal with. So, and it's not anything bad, just, you know, it has to get done, and, you know, I feel responsible. So I can't put as much time as I wanted to into the series, because this stuff takes a lot of time, you know. It really does, because I want to present it in a good light, you know. I don't want to just slop things together, and I just don't have the time to dedicate to it full time. So now, if anybody is, you know, misses some of my content or feels like I'm not putting it up quick enough, if you want to help me out, I do have a Patreon that I hardly ever promote, which probably isn't a good thing, but it's there. I'll put a link in the video description here if you want to send a few dollars people or words of encouragement my way, you know, that does help. Some of my time is related to money because, you know, I have to, you know, earn a living, and, you know, if I can make a little bit more off of this to take away from that, I'd be willing to devote more time to this. But I'm not expecting anything major, any miracles. I'm just throwing it out there because you never know. Maybe someone out there really digs what I do and wants to help out and is in a position to help it. Because I know when I have it to give, I do. It's all about what you can offer. So it'll be there if you want to contribute. As far as how this affects my plans, well, there were a lot of series I had planned for later on this year that for now are on indefinite hold. I'll get to them when I can, but it might be much further down the road if at all. Some series won't happen at all. As it relates to Langrisser, because that is what this series is about, let's focus on that. As of right now, I'm going to finish this series. After that, it's kind of up in the air. I might still cover Langrisser 4, but a big part of that is hinging on if some plans that I have for that can go through that involve a surprise. Remember, I had a big plans for that series that I wanted to surprise you guys with, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's not completely dependent on me at this point, let's just say that. So if things go through there, I'd like to at least continue that one. Beyond that, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of personal reasons behind this, so I do apologize. I'll probably still upload music. I might not get to Der Langrisser for Super Famicom. If I do, it will just be gameplay only, no commentary. But I'll present it like a full walkthrough, so I'll still show off all the item locations that I know of and, you know, all the little secrets and things. But it will be no commentary, just the game. Might having to end up doing that for Langrisser 5 as well. Langrisser 3 is up in the air. If I do get to it, it will probably still be with commentary if I can afford to. It'll probably just be uploaded at a very slow pace. But that's the only one I'm even considering at this point, besides Langrisser 4 is still narrating over. Everything else will just be gameplay only, and that's if I get to it, because again guys, I really just don't have the time now. So I apologize. I might still get to the stuff, but it just might take a lot longer, and it'll be slower. Because as far as my immediate channel plans, oh, let me hold that thought. Leon, please put your sword down and run away. I mean, we don't pity you, we just don't want to keep fighting. You don't have the strength. And even see, when the Emperor is telling you to stand down, let it go. Okay, he'll listen to him. So, Leon, I guess, is still alive? How many times has this man been brought to the verge of death? So he's a pretty tough customer. And you know what, I'm 100% okay with that, because I don't want him to die. I really don't. You know, I didn't like killing Vargas, but we had to do it. I didn't like killing a lot of people across this journey. I didn't want to kill Laird even, but you know, as Leon's subordinate, he's gotta go. That's just the rules of gaming, you know. So, we'll see how it goes. You know, even Egbert had a change of heart at the end there. Again, he was just a man who was doing what he felt was the best solution to a big problem. You know, he just chose the wrong path. Or I'll say he chose the ineffective path. Because again, peace through power. Well, peace through forced power. Peace through aggression, violence, I'll put it like that. Because power is a word that's open to interpretation. There are many forms of power, many forms of strength. Different people possess different aspects of strength. It's not just about might, so to speak. But peace through aggression and violence, that's really no peace. I think we've been through this before. We've discussed this, or at least I have, and you've listened. You know, feel free to chime in, though. You know, my opinion is not totalitarian. It never could be. It never will be. It's just one. But that's how I see it. And these saints are so hard to dispatch, but Scott can do it. Just send him on in there. Multiplicity, man. Still got that one-shot touch. And I guess I might as well take them out, because they're there. And they could reach us on the next turn. And they've only got a +6 to attack, so they weren't a major threat. But why not? He gets Lester at level 5. That's commendable. Yeah, pretty happy with everybody's progress throughout the course of this ride. I mean, everybody's in their final class, respectable levels, good spells, sterling stats, and pretty decent troops. Yeah, at this stage, all you need is ballista, monks, and maybe angels. Oh, and of course Phalanx to deal with Leon. I guess I could have just sent Elwin straight ahead for him, which I kind of did, but if you don't want to do that, if you haven't given Elwin rune stones, you might not want to take that risk. Because Elwin can do big damage, but if Leon reached him first, yeah, it could be troublesome. Thankfully, we won't have to find out for ourselves here. Right, Keith, and Scott. Turn it back over to Bernhard. Oh, did I give you a chance to really listen to his theme? Let me be quiet for a little bit. Got so sidetracked by channel talk, which I've been doing a lot lately, so I apologize for that. Very ominous, isn't it? This is a story of a man who had to walk down a very bleak path to achieve his dream. A dream with many fault lines. A dream that claims to be for the many, but in reality, not quite. A dream of demise and despair. A dream of destruction. A dream I'm sure Chaos would approve of. Who remembers Chaos? Which was a major twist of this game too. Not just Bowser getting betrayed and taken care of in a heartbeat before we could reach him, but no signs of Chaos. So all of the big bads from the first game, kind of inconsequential here. Which is kind of a nice change of pace. Definitely caught me off guard. I was not expecting any of that. And the tables have turned back to us. More teleport. Gonna send Elwin where we wanted to originally before that interruption. And before that, actually, how about some more boosting? And I love the fact that you can cancel teleport after you started to cast it. That's extremely useful. It's like they've thought of everything. I feel so pampered right now. Thanks, Messiah. No thanks to all the Western developers and localizers and publishers who saw fit to not bring the series over. This game in particular, but we don't need to bring that up again, do we? I've talked about it a couple times already. I just can't believe it. I mean, this is such high quality. How could you overlook this? I can understand some of the other games not making it over necessarily, especially for the 32-bit era, because the 32-bit era in terms of publishing was kind of iffy. They were all kind of funny about that, especially Sega, about what audiences would buy and what they wouldn't buy, at least according to them. It was the reason a lot of good games didn't make it over, regrettably. But in the 16-bit era, look at some of the stuff that came over. There's no reason why this got overlooked. You know, they didn't even have to connect it to Warsong if they didn't want to. They could have released it as its own game. Because even though it has ties to the first Langrisser, obviously, you know, it's different enough to where you could disassociate those ties and it could still be plausible. It would still make sense. Now, I would prefer that's not the case. Obviously, you always want to have those connections intact when available, but in order for us to have played this game back when it was first released, I think it would have been a sacrifice worth making, right? That's just one thought. Yeah, he doesn't have too much left in the way of reinforcements right now. Now, again, if you really wanted to end this quickly, you could just teleport somebody straight to Bernhard. In fact, after teleport, that's pretty much the answer in any fight quick. Just go straight for the commander, where that's the winning condition, and just have Elwin or somebody strong take them out, but I don't think that's such a fun watch. I mean, I am going straight for the commanders here, but I want to at least, you know, take them out. You know, they've taken the time to get themselves ready for the final attack. I think I owe them that much. Allow them a chance to defend themselves in their castle, in their empire, in their honor. I would want the same. Don't want to be too cheap about it. Well, the temptation is always there. Say no to temptation. Oh, yeah, so what do you think of this music, though? This right here, the last battle theme, this is definitely my top 3 for this game. This one side and third place, it's a toss-up between several songs that I can't choose from, but those two in particular, this and one side, I don't think I'll ever get tired of listening to them. I mean, I could put them endlessly on repeat. And every version of them that I've heard is good. Some I like more than others, but they're all pretty amazing. So if nothing else, you can look forward to a lot of Langrisser music being uploaded on this channel for quite a while. I would upload more music from later games in the series, but I haven't completed them yet, so, you know, if I haven't heard it. And ideally, I would play music for a game after I've showed it off on my channel, but that won't always be the case. Especially considering now, things looking the way they are, I don't know if I'll even get to all the games. Because, again, it's not just about Langrisser, you know, I really want to cover Sonic Mania in a big way, because I'm a old school retro classic Sonic fan. Elwin learns Blast. You probably wouldn't be able to tell up until this point, because I'm not really into modern Sonic, contemporary Sonic. I just like the older series, and I still do. So the fact that a new game's coming out that caters to that and brings that back and is faithful to that, I honestly never saw that coming. I didn't think they would have the intelligence, honestly, to make that happen and stay true to the old style and gameplay. But they did, so I have to talk about it. I have to cover it. If any of you are interested in that, please look out for that. It's going to be major coverage, gameplay only and commentary for both sides of the pond. So that I'm going to cover no matter what. And it's a shorter game. It's not going to be as in-depth as a strategy, tactical, role-playing sim. So it's not going to be as time-investing or time-consuming for sure. So, and there are other games I want to show off that won't be as much of a demand. Things along those lines, action games, shooting games, maybe some racing games. Yeah, because I've been so into RPGs and I love them, but I just don't have the time to really devote to them the way that I want to. And it's sad because there's so much I wanted to show off. And it's not saying that it's impossible or won't happen, but I'm just trying to be realistic, and I don't want to give false promises or build anything up. I don't like to hype things up for that reason. You know, people talk something up and then it doesn't happen or it's not what they said it'd be. I never want to be that guy, so I hope you all understand. I have to thank you once again for all your support. I've noticed the series has been pretty consistent about getting a decent amount of likes. I've gotten some comments here and there. Some people have probably shared the videos, but I just want to thank you all so much. And I really just want to expose this game as much as possible because it's just so fantastic and well done in every aspect. And I've noticed since this playthrough has progressed, and I'm not trying to give myself credit for it, I'm not saying I'm the direct cause of this. I have no way of knowing it one way or another, to be honest. But I have noticed that since this playthrough has been going on, there have been some more playthroughs of Langrisser 2, specifically the Mega Drive Genesis version, on YouTube. Some with commentary, some without. In fact, now that I think about it, there have been no other ones with English commentary that I'm aware of. If they are, please let me know. I definitely would like to check them out. But there have been some in other languages, Chinese, Russian. But I think for the most part there are no commentary. But there have been more playthroughs posted at least, so that's good. That lets me know that there is still interest in this game. Other people want to show it as well. And I don't know, I like to think, what's the scientific principle that relates to this? I can't think of it right now, but basically, what do they call it? 100 something. But basically, it's the idea that an idea is not confined to one mind. So if you have an idea or a thought, you know, it's almost like a ripple effect. You know, a mental ripple effect. And other people will share or carry or convey that same idea. And it travels. You know, it's like, say you hear some obscure character or come across some old show out of the blue. Somebody mentions it in passing, like, I don't know, Buck Rogers or something. And then within a matter of hours or weeks or days or some span of time that seems short, you start hearing Buck Rogers everywhere. You know, you see video of it or pops up somewhere out of the blue. Some random conversation, you overhear Buck Rogers or something related to it. You know, I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that in life, but those seemingly random events of spontaneity, I've encountered that. And not even spontaneity, the word I'm looking for is synchronicity. Events of synchronicity, like certain things just seem to line up in a way where you can't just chalk it up to coincidence or accident. Like, it almost seems like there's something else going on. And I think on some level it just means that we're all connected mentally, but I could be wrong. But I'm going to keep it simple, that's my impression. So yeah, if you have any good ideas in life, don't sit on them too long, because believe me, somewhere out there, somebody is having that same idea. And if you don't act fast, they will. They might. Most likely. No good idea goes to waste. I've learned that. So we're gonna send our dragoons forward. Dark Guardians are very nasty, but against the cavalry, what can they do? Top tier cavalry at that. And it's fun, we've had Griffins since the second or third scenario, but they're so useful. Thanks to that high attack. And look, thanks to him, what is that, 48 attack? Am my eyes seeing that right? Oh my goodness, that's nasty. They might as well be commanders doing that kind of damage. Oh. Scott got a scratch. He's gonna have to give up his title. But he learned heal too. Perfect timing, right? Adding insult to the final injury on her. Anything she can do, he can go right up. No teleport from you, huh? So, kind of worthless to bring you. Not that I have a grudge against you or anything, but you're gonna die here. Out of the mouth of the Pirate Master himself. So it must be so. Out of range, but we probably won't need to use them anyway. It's almost as if the ground is giving way to another dimension in space. It's as if the power of Alhazard has opened up a rift in the continuum. And you'd think we'd be getting sucked into this alternate dimension, this spatial rift, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So maybe it's just, you know, very, very, very fancy carpet that Bernhardt has there. Very spiffy stuff. I like the theme. We never want to turn down an open invitation, so we're going to give it our best effort. Since he offered. You know, he's got the torches for the altar. He's got the faces or the masks built into the pillars. You know, he's got the floors looking like skeletal structures. Very demonesque. You know, very necromancer friendly. You know, he's definitely got a sense of style with the decor. I'm not sure if it really appeals to my taste, but of some sensibilities, I'm sure it's very, very popular. I'd like to know who did the decorations for him, though. Clearly he had some help here. But this isn't even his place, is it? This really belongs to Bowser, right? He is the Prince of Darkness. You know, he's the rightful owner of Alcazar, which wasn't mentioned in Langrisser, funny enough, unless that was something that was left out of the English version. But I feel like that was something added on, like they decided to add more plot elements, more backstory, and they said, you know what, let's come up with an antithesis to Langrisser, because, you know, it's appropriate. I do wish that they presented the conflict a little bit better, though. And I'm not going to come down too hard on this game, but honestly, it's become a bit exasperating, you know, because it's very much a trope at this point. Actually, it was kind of a trope when this came out. Again, I'm just kind of being forgiven, but, you know, the whole never-ending conflict or battle between light and darkness, you know, I see what they're going for, but it's extremely played out at this point, and it's kind of hard for me to even stomach it, honestly, because it's so easy to misconstrue. And if you look at it, light and darkness are essential components of our existence. You can't have light, you can't have darkness. And more telling, you can't have one without the other. Imagine a world that's all light and no darkness. Imagine a world that's all darkness and no light. You know? I wish they had presented it in a different way, because they really make it sound like literally darkness and everything likened to darkness is evil and bad, and everything likened to light is good. Because too much light can blind you. It can decimate your body, your frame. You know, too much darkness obviously is bad as well. You know, too much darkness. All darkness means really no existence, no living. But you can say the same thing for light too. So they're kind of two sides of the same coin, and they miss that. Like, you know, Bowser represents, like for example, Bowser and his forces here, in this case Bernhardt though, they represent evil, you know, malicious forces. But why equate them to darkness? It implies that all darkness is bad. You know, when we're surrounded by space, which is dark. you know? It's just, you know, say I'm getting too literal, too technical, too specific, too logical, but, you know, it kind of gets to you. Especially when it resurfaces and reoccurs in so many instances. Like, how many games, especially RPGs, they have this bad? How many RPGs can you think of where it's a conflict between light and darkness, and the opposing forces are always likened to darkness, the allied forces are always likened to light? You know, if they're gonna do it, at least reverse it just once, where the side of darkness is on the right and the side of light are the antagonists. Maybe it's been done and I'm just not aware of it, but even beyond that, I don't even want that, because it's still the same problem, just in reverse. That's not any better. I just want a conflict where it's two sides, not in agreement, has nothing to do with light or dark. It really doesn't factor into it, because, you know, it just carries connotations that are facetious at best. At best. And frankly, they're just flat out wrong. Because you need both sides, both elements. So that diatribe is over. I hope you all understand where I'm coming from with that. And I'm literally talking about light and darkness. I'm not even trying to give it, you know, quote unquote racial undertones or anything, because I know that that's probably playing in the background in some folks' minds, which doesn't help either. And I'm not gonna even get into that, because as far as I can tell, race, you know, I'm not even talking about that. That's just a joke to me, you know. Not to say that there aren't differences between people. That goes without saying. I mean, you can see that within your own family. Individuals are different. That goes for groups too. But race, as people talk about it these days, to me, it just creates confusion. It means nothing to me. You know. It's almost like people just fishing for conflicts where there need not be one. So I'm not gonna play into that distraction, that charade. I have no time for that. That's just garbage to me. But again, light and darkness, it does correlate too, because, you know, a lot of people liken, you know, white to light and black to darkness, and that carries connotations of its own as it pertains to people, and you can see how that leads to a lot of misunderstandings, don't you? So I don't even need to get into all that. We'd really like to just focus on the game here. But again, I'm a real guy. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'm gonna talk to you guys how it is. I'm not gonna hold my tongue. I don't think you guys are too flimsy or frail or weak or shallow. We can't talk about these things. I mean, if we don't talk about it, you know who will? And if we don't talk about it, how can we become better people, better understanding people? Isn't it all about understanding? That's what I'm in it for, at least. Because if we can't understand each other, we certainly can't help each other. And I want to help. You know? In my opinion, video games are fun, but they're not just shallow fun. They have the potential to bring people together. That's what I like to think, at least. And ironically, as I say that, Bernhardt goes down by Elwin's hand, who was adamant about our combined strength being the source of our power, not just Langrisser. But Bernhardt is going to chime in and say, no, that's what Langrisser does. It brings hearts together. He says one person's heart alone is weak, and together men's hearts bring forth petty conflicts. And, you know, there is some insight there. He's not entirely wrong. So like Edward, he had good intentions. And I guess that's why they used to say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, because look at where it led him. But intentions are still important. Don't sell them short. It's just not everything. So maybe he was one of the weak after all, because he didn't believe in others. Because no matter how strong you are, how strong you feel you need to be, when it's all said and done, nobody can accomplish anything in this world on their own. Nobody. We all have support in some form, in some shape, from some source. So never forget that. Never be ashamed to ask for help or to rely on the help of others. Even Leon, as strong as he was, he had his troops backing him up. We certainly had ours helping us. Oh, and speaking of Leon, look who's back once more. From the dead yet again. And he's ready to die, as always, but Elwin and Bernhardt don't want to see that happen, I'm sure. But he has taken on Bernhardt's dream to the soul and will not relinquish it. Bernhardt just gives up at this point. He can't stop him. It is extremely, extremely tragic that it has to end this way. Don't worry, Leon. I'm pretty sure Elwin's gonna take care of it for you. He's a man of his word as well. Though who can compare to you in that regard? And Lana, don't do it. Brings to mind another old phrase, love is blind. Let's see if we can't lead her back into the light of reasoning. Oh, he's gonna do it for us, because saying something like that. Oh man, that hurts. That really does. In another world, those two ended up together, living happily, but it won't be this one. I regret to report. No, Keith, there is another way. And see, this is what I'm talking about. Lines like this. Darkness is the enemy of humanity. I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Elwin. I don't think darkness is anybody's enemy, but he's referring to the darkness that spawned chaos and Bowser and things of that nature, but they just don't make it specific enough. It's really like it's a war against darkness itself, and that's just inconsistent with reality. Darkness is not your enemy. You kind of need it. It's kind of what birthed all of us, isn't it?